In today's episode, we have Rahim with us. Rahim has contributed a lot in building the data science ecosystem in our country, and will soon, come to know about this. He's a great teacher, one of the highly rated coach on BoardInfinity platform. He's currently working with Flipkart as analytics lead. He has recently authored a book as well called the Deep Learning Workshop. Rahim has more than 10 years of experience in advanced analytics, machine learning, consulting, and teaching. Hi, Rahim. How are you?
Hey, good morning. How are you, Abhay? I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good. So, Rahim, Up the Ladder is a career talk series. In every episode, we try to have a candid conversation with industry professionals, try to learn from their career journey and what are the tips that they have for students and early career professionals. Okay. So today's episode, we have broken down into two sections. So in the first section, we'll try to dig deep into your career journey. We'll try to learn about your education from BITS Pilani, then your transition into data science with ZS, and then your current experience in Flipkart. And in the next section, we'll try to get some questions answered on data science. So I've got some 6-7 questions from our students and viewers, and we'll try to answer those questions.
Sure.
So starting from the very beginning, so you had done your engineering in 2009 from BITS in electronics and instrumentation, and post that you went to work with in the semiconductor industry when you were interning with a company and in chip designing and all, right? And that was for almost a year, and post that you got into ZS Associates. So tell us about that transition. How did you transition from a typical electronics and instrumentation industry to data science?
Yeah. So this journey of mine, right, starting from electronics, and that is something I think many students of us also would like to know, right? Because they also like not computer science, and like them, my first job was not data science, right? My first job was core electronics, the semiconductor on chip, right? I'm writing program for semiconductor on chip, and so it's a very different kind of thing. And I think people would be interested in, knowing, right, from semiconductors to wherever you are, what was the journey, and here's what I had done, right? So when I joined the semiconductor company, I was very happy initially. It's a core job for me, right? It's a core job. The company was pretty good. It still is pretty good. And pretty soon, okay, it was very, very quickly, I realized that I really can't be doing this for life. Looking at spec sheets and I don't know, 2 volt here, 5 volt here, and so on. I was like, what is going on, right? And I definitely wanted to do something else. And I felt, at least my understanding at that point in time, was that I will be good at problem solving.
Right.
So that's the kind of understanding I had, right? I would be good at problem solving. I may not be very great at coding at that point in time, nothing, but at least I felt that problem solving, and I do have some, say, inclination towards numbers. Okay, that's all I really understood by that in that point in time. And that's what I wanted to get into. And so I had to get out. Okay. And the first role I picked, okay, of course, I was trying to aim for the best of companies. Everyone tries that, right? So, and ZS was it is a pretty good company, right, among the top companies. So I went for it. The first role I got over there was not what you would call a data science related, data science role as such. Okay. Not how we define it today. Okay. This term by data science was not there earlier, but it was more of a consulting role. It was, consulting role, which is sales and marketing consulting, a bit of strategy, but you do get exposed to data. Right? Even back then, we were using data. So I got into that, and that's when I really realized that this is interesting. Right? So it's not like I had a plan or a goal in my mind that I want to become what people call a data science professional, advanced analytics, whatever. It was more around the larger thing. I want to be in the problem solving domain and so on. And that's when I got to ZS, and then it kind of one thing leads to another, right? So you went there and you realize there's so much power in numbers, right? So many discussions people are having, but that's not creating the same impact as someone with data, right? Who lesser experience like me. I just have this data presented in the right manner, and that far more powerful than some big guys arguing. So that power of data and the kind of value it brings, that really stuck with me. And then I decided this is where I want to continue. So it was kind of wasn't a very well planned thing, but I went there, and then after that, right, I soon realized that I really enjoy the statistical part, the
Yeah.
more mathematical part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I made another jump.
Mhm.
So I was there in ZS for 2.5 years. Then I moved to IMS Health, and now it is IQVIA,
Right.
also pretty good company in consulting, again sales and marketing consulting for worldwide. That's when I got more exposure. So even more exposure to more say technical, in a sense that statistical model building became my daily thing, right?
Right.
And multiple models, automated models, forecasting, this, that, and that's when now I realized that this is fun, right? And
Right.
this
Right.
is that's when I realized this is something I could be doing for life.
Right.
So it's somewhere aligned with who I am in a way, and what I felt my strengths are. And now after that, then I realized, okay, I need to learn more. Then I moved to Flipkart, but I was very sure I had to be in the data. I need to be hands on, and
Right.
that's where I am now. So
Okay.
that's the journey.
Yeah. So in the entire transition, you were learning things on your own, right? And did you had somebody who was kind of coaching you, mentoring you, or?
See, here's where I think so. At least in my thing, I didn't really find, at least first of all, by that time, right, 2010 and all, you didn't have platforms,
Yeah. Yeah.
you didn't have BoardInfinity and so on.
Right. Right.
If it were there, I would have probably taken it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that point in time, it was you were pretty much, on your own or talking to some people, a limited
Right.
group around you.
Right.
Social media
Right.
also wasn't that big, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the 5 people you talk to. So really, and I didn't find, people who were able to guide me. Of course, in my second company, my manager was very supportive, and he himself was very enthusiastic about data science in general. So that's where I got some mentoring on this. But largely, right, it was self-discovery and me moving around and bumbling and just figuring out, okay, this works, that doesn't work. But if I think I do now, right, I think mentoring, finding a right mentor and someone to guide you is very, very important. I think
Yeah.
if I would in fact recommend everyone to either find a mentor in your company, or just be somewhere where someone can guide you, right? It was always good to learn from
Right.
others.
Right. 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 And that brings to my second question, which is your passion for teaching. And I have seen that in the last few years, you have been associated with multiple platforms, with BoardInfinity also, and teaching and coaching a lot of people.
Yeah.
So where did this passion come from?
Right. So this love for teaching was always there. Actually, it wasn't a recent thing. So even as a kid, I used to, even when I was a little kid, like I don't know, 7, 8 years or 6 years, I used to find the ones younger than me,
Mhm.
make them sit, right, and again whatever, right, they are saying ABCD, I teach them ABCD or whatever, right.
Right.
So that's always been there,
Wow.
and it continued. I think it continued in college as well, where I was teaching. I mean, either I teach the students of my batch, right, of my basically the people in my batch, right, uh, just like that, okay, or just and before the exams, of course, that
Yeah.
last like
Yeah.
preparation, that I was
Right.
the
Yeah.
guru
Yeah.
over there. And not just that, I used to go outside and teach underprivileged kids and so on. So this teaching thing is something which has always been with me, and I think I find it very satisfying. It's a
Mhm.
fulfilling thing, right?
Right.
It's like those things, right? If someone is a poet, he wants to do poetry kind of.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, he'll go crazy.
Yeah.
It's like that
Yeah.
for me. If I don't do teaching, I'll go crazy. So it's like that. And then that continued. I After joining first company, I started teach internally, right? So
Right.
if I learn something, I teach it to the others. I
Right.
take brown
Right.
bag random sessions. I just like that teaching thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That continued with IQV and Flipkart. In fact, Flipkart, a couple of years back or something, I was completely in a way leading the entire learning charter for
Right.
the analytics organization, the
Right.
entire 180 folks and so on. So teaching how to go about teaching, designing, let's say, curriculum, designing modules. I really enjoy all that part. And as you said, I've been working with many platforms the past many years. Actually, it's not
Right.
1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years. Many continuously been, and I've seen the landscape. Something I really enjoy.
Mhm.
It's really
Mhm.
fun. And then with BoardInfinity, I've been there for how long? It's not 2 years now.
2 years now. Yeah.
2 years now, right? Yeah, 2 years now. And then with BoardInfinity, it's kind of a different setup, right? Where
Yeah.
you're not working with working professionals in a proper corporate environment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're working with you're interacting with students, right, who have so many doubts in their head, so
Right.
many concerns. What will happen to me? Will I get a
Yeah.
job and
Yeah.
so on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, they've heard so many things, right? So here, right, I felt this is the space where I can actually add value. I can really,
Right.
talk to people and really help them or guide them.
Right.
So, which is why, something like a BoardInfinity, I mean, like BoardInfinity, I really enjoy this bit,
Right.
talking to people, interacting, guiding students. I
Right.
think
Right.
that's where a teacher will be satisfied, by adding value to people.
Yeah.
So,
And I think, and that's why we started BoardInfinity also. And when we were in our initial days, and we always thought that the current education system or the initial career system, wherein people are doing a lot of mistakes, they are not being coached or mentored properly. The faculties in our education system are also not that
yeah,
capable. So we thought, industry professionals like you are the missing puzzle in this, missing piece in this puzzle.
yeah.
And if we
But
can, more people like you come and contribute, that's when we can do a lot of improvement.
yes, I see. I completely agree. Because see what happens. Even when I was in college, right, all the information I used to get
Yeah.
was, in fact, we didn't even have like this common phone, smartphones by
Yeah.
that point,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so only few of the rich kids had those
Yeah.
phones, but all the information we used to get were from the seniors we had.
Yeah.
And who's to say they were the best of
Yeah.
experts or wisest people, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never know, right? So it was clearly a very big gap, right? And if I were a student, right, back then, I would have loved to have a platform where someone from the industry
Yeah.
comes and tells me what matters, what doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I should focus, where I shouldn't focus. And I think it's a very very important thing. It's not just that there is a demand for this. It's just that this is a place where you can actually add value to
Right.
people's
Right.
lives.
Right.
So that's what I really I think I really appreciate about this platform of BoardInfinity, and which is why I think students are also seeing the benefit of it. I don't think anyone I don't know, it's just very easy to see the value of what you're doing right now, and I think it's a very good space. Students, I mean, you are lucky, students, if you are enrolled on the platform. You are lucky, because I would have loved to have some sort of a mentoring at least, or even like a, forget about mentoring, right? Even if I were to able to talk to professionals, right, that would have been a very big thing for me.
Yeah.
I miss that mentorship part, but I'm glad that the students and you guys have it.
Thanks. So, Rahim, the next question is, we'd like to know more about your current role at Flipkart and the
Okay.
kind of projects you're working on. And you have just completed your 5 years there at Flipkart, right? So if you can talk about that journey.
Yeah, so at Flipkart, I have been all over the place. So it's like, I think, first of all, right, I'll just explain how Flipkart is, right? There are so many problem statements at hand. Okay, it's not like an organization where it's a very some very steady paced organization where there is a defined project which you'll work on for the next 2 years. That happens in consulting, maybe it happens in other places, but it's Flipkart. It's crazy. Okay, one day you're working on this, next month you're working on something which is completely different. Okay,
like any other startup.
That is, I mean, that's a good comparison, really. That's how it actually is. You have to be very agile, and there are so many things going on, right? So many problem statements are there, and you just keep moving around, keep solving them, right? So I've been lucky in that sense that when I started in Flipkart, I started with what is called the category analytics.
Right.
Category analytics is the people who do the buying and selling. So, right. So which brand should we get? Who should we buy from? Which location should we place what stuff? How do we sell, the sales and everything, right? I was lucky to get there because that is where you're closest with the business. Okay.
Right.
That's where you really learn the most in the shortest span of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there first, and I was there for 2 years, close to 2 years actually, in the category thing. It was really, I mean, I learned about e-commerce so much, right? I would not have learned otherwise. It's really, really very useful experience. It's hectic, but it's good. After that, I moved on to, by the way, in category analytics, there's so many aspects. There's a customer aspect, there's a seller aspect, there's a product aspect. So I got to work on all the different parts of it, okay? Demand, supply, everything. Then I moved on to what is called catalog, is where you're talking about which is good product, or which product should get priority, right? Which projects are inherently good, what is the quality of it, and so on. That's a very very interesting piece. Okay, it's a very, very meta, very interesting piece, very difficult piece as well.
Right.
Then I went to what is called the user generated content, which is ratings and reviews. I think we all aware of what it is, but ratings and reviews and customer question and answers, right? This is what I moved to. I was there for, I think, close to 2.5, close to 2. And then finally, this year I moved to the pricing and promotion. So pricing, as you may expect, is pricing is a very, very big part
Right.
of
Right.
any e-commerce platform, right? Pricing is a very key thing. One of the four P's of marketing, right? So pricing is a very key thing. So I've been working with pricing, but what I want to add over here, right, is that just so that people understand this, right? Uh, when I say I'm doing this pricing and using data science in Flipkart, I want to clarify this notion that I'm not building models all the time.
Yeah.
Okay? And I suppose this probably would be one of the key discussions we will have as well. I want this a key point I want to bring here as well. Or how do I define my role, right? I don't define my role as a data scientist or this or that. I would define my role as a business problem solver using data.
Okay. Right.
Okay, that's my role, and that's where I think I add value. If I think of myself as just writing code, I'm not adding value really. So
Right.
I like to think in terms of the value I'm bringing.
Right.
So if there is a problem to be solved, and if it can be solved using data, I will solve it, and I do whatever it takes.
Right.
Whether it is building a world-class model, or it is say showing you the best Excel pivot table. Both of them perfectly fine solutions.
Right.
So it's about adding the value. So that's what I do really. That's what my role is. I do whatever it takes to solve the problem. A simple solution or a visualization or a model, whatever it is. That's how I think of my job.
Got it. Yeah, that's really insightful. So one thing that we wanted to understand was for a professional like you, and in the current industry scenario, a lot of things are changing very fast. So how do you ensure that you are on top of your learning requirements? I mean,
right. So I think this is where I think it really helps to understand what you're doing and what is the value you add. And I would like to think of it as two things. One is identifying your strengths and playing by your strengths. Okay?
Right.
The second part is in whatever you're doing, of course, there will always be, you have to keep up with the way things are moving. Right? You have to scale up as well.
Right. Right.
So, but these two things are very related. See, you cannot you don't upskill in a random thing out of a whim or a fancy.
Right.
So what you should be having is a clear idea of what is it that you want to do and what your strengths are. It's very important to play by your strengths. So I give you a very, it's a very candid thing, right? I mean, it's an example of mine, okay? I know that my strength is in being able to think critically and solve a problem with the sufficient depth. That's what my skill is.
Right.
I will not say that my skill is I am the best coder. I'm not. I'm the best in machine learning. I'm not. I don't need to be great at any of these really, because that's where I am right now, right? That's my core job. My core is solving a problem.
Right.
Now, the way I see this, even you, right? I mean, anyone, basically, you will hear about this new technology which has come up.
Yeah.
Right. And suddenly, everyone is going gaga over it.
Yeah.
Question you should ask is, how does that technology help you?
Right.
In the short run or in the long run, do you really need to know it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See, unless you have that view, right, it's just a fancy, it's just a whim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And everybody is doing, image detection, object detection. I also do the same. Right? Why? Right.
Right.
That's how I have kept it. I've kept focus, and I think the focus has helped me. So what I've done is how do I choose what to learn, what not to learn? I choose only those things which I see helping me in what I do in the short term, or what I do, or what I want to become in the long run.
Right.
Everything else is noise. I won't do just a thing just because everyone is doing it.
Got it. Yeah, I think that focus is very important throughout the career. And I mean, I keep seeing that a lot of people are talking about different, business practices, technology, products, and at BoardInfinity, a lot of people come to us with several ideas that you should do this also, and do this also. But unless that that focus is there, I think long-term things, the impact that we are looking for, will not be able to create. That is something.
Yeah, and I think and one good thing I also I mean, you guys have it right, where this is again where talking to people, right, or having some sort of a mentoring thing really helps.
Yes.
Because it's very easy to get distracted, especially if you are early in your career, right?
Right.
You just started, and you're earning whatever, right? Say 5 or 5 lakh, whatever. Someone tells you, you learn this technology, you will earn 15.
Yeah, right.
And that is the biggest distractor. Okay? right? It's not like that, right? It doesn't work
Right.
like that. You should think, is it really what you want to do? Is in the long run, is it what you'll be comfortable with, and so on. So find your zone. That's what it
Right.
is. Find your zone and play in that zone. In fact,
Yeah.
suppose in the career coaching calls and so on, that's what it needs to be discussed, right?
Right.
See, like I think what we have, I'm aware what BoardInfinity is doing, right? That instead of talking of it as data science
Yeah.
completely, or you have broken into specific tracks,
Right. Right.
and this track suits you. So
Yes.
that finding that thing, right? This is what I am meant for, is a very critical thing, and you
Right.
need to be convinced, because you just don't listen to someone else. Someone tells you, oh, you should be a data scientist, and you're like, yeah, I should be one. They're earning well as well. That's not right. You have to think. Is it a good fit for you? Do you
Right.
have the aptitude? Skills you can develop. See,
Yes.
skills you will develop. Skills can be learned, but some people inherently, right? You find some things good, some things you don't like. So there's no need to fight your nature all the time, right? Otherwise, it's in the
Yeah.
long run, it is
Yeah.
disaster.
Yes. 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 Right. Right. And Rahim, we'd like to know about your, you have started venturing into the authoring space also, and you have recently completed the book called The Deep Learning Workshop. So tell us about that experiment and how it is coming around.
Yeah, it's a most fun thing I think I did. So I do like writing in general, which is and here and there I keep writing stuff. It's not all out there in the public domain right now. I think only a few articles here and there, but I keep just writing. For a friend of mine, I wrote a blog, or for somewhere else, I wrote a guest post, and so on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I keep writing these things. And a friend of mine, he had worked with these publication house earlier, right? Pact Pub, and I think they needed an author on the natural language processing part. And my friend was aware that I write well. I mean, he thinks I write well. So he knew that I work in the NLP space. It's a whole reviews and ratings is all around that, right? Text. So he asked me if I'd be interested in such a thing, and I jumped at it, because this is something I'd always wanted to do.
Right.
See, I think as someone who likes writing, everyone has that goal of someday I will write a book, right?
Yeah.
So that was, of course, my goal as well. I'm no different in that sense. So that I got a chance over there, and it's not that easy, right?
Right.
Anyone can just once, and so they had critically reviewed my earlier writings. They shared samples and everything. Then they asked me to write about one particular topic, or any topic. Okay? Take any topic, write in this particular fashion, because this is the kind of book we have. So I wrote a long article, and that qualified me. So it's not that easy as well. But yeah, it's not. I think if you work towards it, it's not too hard. So that's how I really got into it, and then onward, it's been really fun. It's so much to learn. I mean, I used to think that I can write, write well enough.
Right.
I used to think I could write good, but I got to know I was writing just well enough. I wasn't really good, and there are so many things. Writing is. I think it's like that, right? Everything seems trivial until you really get into it.
Right. Exactly.
The details came up, how language, taxonomy, and so on. It's been real fun. I think it's really good. So but the book is about deep learning as well, using, and there's multiple people who have contributed to this. So, but I'm the primary author of this, and the main things I've taken or looked at is the whole working with text, natural language processing, using deep learning, recurrent neural networks for different kinds of problems, and so on. I've also guided in the other chapters as well. So it's a fun thing, deep learning. And what I really enjoyed the most about this book is that it wasn't a pure mathematical treatment. I really think that the gap has always been bringing together intuition and application.
Right.
Books or courses fall short on either of these.
Yes.
So this is the book where I have tried to the extent possible to have both. Math is minimal. Anyone can really take it. You understand the intuition with great examples, and then you go into the hands-on.
Right.
So that's what the book is. I think, do check it out. I think the book is live now. It's launched now. It's attractively priced as well. So you guys can, I think, check it out. It's called the Deep Learning Workshop.
Okay. Yes.
Or you just go to Amazon, search for my name, right? You'll find it. So
yeah. We'll share the link in the video also.
Sure. I'll do that.
Find it. Yeah.
All right.
So one last question around your career journey, Rahim. So do you think there are certain things in your journey in the last 10 or rather 15 years which you could have done better and could have helped you in your career better?
Yeah. I think definitely. I think there are hindsight is 2020, right? So there are many things I can clearly see now, but which I don't, which at that point in time couldn't really see. But I think I've done some things well because I've been that kind of a person who actually actively thinks about their career and doesn't get distracted by a paycheck or the latest technology. So I've luckily my mistakes are not too many, but there are certain things. So for example, the biggest one by far I think is the whole thing around, I mean, I don't know, it may sound repetitive, but uh, I early on as well, I think I should have uh, spoken to more people. I think I don't know, by means of probably joining a group or something, but spoken to more people and broadened my thoughts then early on. Okay, it would have helped me probably refine everything better.
Got it.
And the other part is, I think I was in the beginning of the career, I was very very casual. That's how you are, right? In the beginning,
Yeah.
hey, theek hai yaar, I mean, let's do this, let's do that. And early on, I used to think on the lines of what is novel or what is attractive as well. There's some bias for novelty for me, but that used to be a stronger driver early on.
Got it.
So I made some choices which were doing things not because they need to be done, but just because they are funky or they are attractive, right? So certain things, I mean, it's not like I regret them, but it's just a waste of time sometimes.
Got it. Yeah.
But otherwise, the biggest thing I have is not really engaging a lot with say professionals. In fact, I my biggest thing is I should have even if it sounds weird, I would should have actually reached out to someone in my organization, whoever I think as a role model for me, and I would ask them, please guide me, okay, please become a mentor to me, right? And some of them agree, some don't agree, but people do help out. So I didn't do that, and I think that would have added a lot more value to my career, I think.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, actively seeking coaching and mentoring in the long run, I think it helps quite a lot. And a lot of us are dependent on and in the early, I mean, I've seen a lot of people, they take advice from their uncles and
exactly.
sisters, but they actively don't take advice for people, those who have already done that, or those who could actually help them.
Yeah. In fact, on that, right? I'm not sure how many. I mean, students will not probably be very aware, but the coaching after a level, right? After a certain year of experience, certain position, right? It could. We all understand, that coaching is a must. You see, if you talk to someone who is 3 years of experience, they will not even think of it. Someone who is a 5-year experience, he will say, "I've heard people about it or talk about it, but I don't really see the value."
Right.
Someone who's a 10-year of experience, you will tell them that they will say coaching is an important thing. And someone who is 15, 20, they will say, I have multiple coaches.
Right.
That's what. So they have, in fact, they are formally enrolled in coaching programs, which you and I will find expensive as well. Okay, because you see the value it adds.
Right.
It helps you. By far the biggest benefit of coaching is that there is another person who will help you find your blind spots.
Yes.
You are not even aware their issue exists.
Right.
They'll help you identify, and that's a really valuable thing.
Right. I mean, just to add, we have got a lot of students who have taken, let's say, a small mock interview with a coach on BoardInfinity platform. Okay, and before just getting into the interview of that company, and they were like very much benefited by the session, and they were actually able to crack. So there were a couple of folks from XLRI Jamshedpur, they took mock interview from BoardInfinity platform, and they got into the interview, and they were able to crack the interview very easily. And that is the value of coaching and mentoring, in the very smallest form that could,
definitely by far the biggest value, like I said, is you won't even realize those things are missing, and the coaches, they help you identify those gaps.
Right.
It's a very important thing, your blind spots.
Yeah. Cool. So moving on to the next section. So we have got a couple of questions around data science and ML. And the first question is around, whether data science is the new buzz in the market. And a lot of people are, sort of getting into data science just because they feel that it is cool, that it is funky, but they lack the basic understanding of this entire, field. So can you shed some light around how it will affect them later, or what should they do to correct it?
So, okay, the way I understand it, there's two parts to your question. One part is about data science and the value of it, right? And whether or not, or what it means for data, for everyone, right?
Right.
The second part is about people who are getting into it just because, it's cool. It's two part. So I'll take the first part first. The first part first, right? See, data science, while the term is new, right? In fact, I was looking at some article or something. I was just showing that Google Trends, right?
Yeah.
Even by 2014,
Yeah.
the term data science was not being used.
Okay.
So even as a term, which is everywhere right now, this term was not even mildly popular. Okay, it wasn't really being used by 2014 also. It's a very, very, very recent term. It doesn't mean that whatever is going on in data science was not there earlier. Right. These things have been going on since the very beginning. Whenever we started measuring things, right? From then on, once we started having numbers, data science actually began then.
Right.
In 1940s, around the World War, just right before it or around it, right? This, I would say, became more formalized at a higher scale. Okay, and I mean, people used to see the impact of it in many different ways. It was then called operations research, I suppose, something of that sort, something on those lines. And then some other terms. And finally, right, then machine learning. It came so many terms, right, and now it's the same old wine packaged in newer bottles. But of course, it has been evolving, right? That is one. So, but why? The question, the real thing is, why is it there, and why is it always been there, and so on, right? And for this, right, one needs to see the big picture. The big picture, which I also try to bring in all the sessions I have. The big picture is that today, the amount of data, the volume of data that we have right now is tremendous and is only exponentially multiplying, right? But the biggest challenge here is, I think, which is a nice quote I like to repeat, is that we are drowning in information. But we are completely starving for knowledge. So businesses now have these tons of or terabytes of data, but they have no idea what to do with it. They know that data can help me, but there are no skills. They don't even know in many cases, what to do with it. It's something we have to do, but what do we do, right? So that's the situation right now. And in this situation right now, if there is a person who, comes and says, what, you have these tons of data lying, I can help you take business actions and I can increase your profitability, or I can create business impact using my skills from the same data. Isn't that person valuable?
Yes.
So that's the whole thing, really. That is the reason why data science is now everywhere. There is plenty of information. No one knows what to do with it. Data science is here for a long time. It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Needs are only growing. Now a single device you wear on your hand is generating so much information every millisecond, right? So it's going to be there. The nature of data, everything, data science is going to be there. It's not going anywhere. You can be sure for a very long time it's going to be there. It is, as long as you and I have a career, it will be there. Okay? That's the first part. The second part is to people coming into this just because it sounds cool, or maybe it is attractive. Okay, so on that bit, right? So even if, let's say, you come to this, right, it's not that data science will not be welcoming you, because you see, there is so many requirements, so much opportunity. You probably will find something or the other. Okay, maybe not in a month, maybe in 6 months, or maybe in a year. You will find something. In a larger, data science is very broad, right? So you can find something in the larger umbrella. But if you went in there just for the heck of it and just for maybe a better paycheck or whatever, right? And if it doesn't align with who you are or what you want to do, then there will be a problem later. Right. I can give you an example, right? So there are these many people, in fact, even within data science, many people think that if I want to be in data science, I want to be that data scientist who is at all the time working with funky algorithms and models. Okay. That's the kind of view we had in mind, right? You ask about data science, no one will talk of basic stats. No one will talk about inference and so on. They'll all talk about, I don't know, neural networks or image processing and so on. Right? So that's what everyone is attracted to. So you think that is the only role. Let's say, somehow you got in there as well. But what if you realize that's not what your really core is, and that's not what you enjoy? What if you realize you enjoyed the problem solving part a little more, right, instead of the model building part? And it does happen, by the way. Okay, so
Right.
and this is a friend's experience as well, and I also felt the same, right? See, it's not like one is better, the other is bad, and so on among these. Okay, it's just that they're different.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who is my friend of mine who was in analytics, he was in a good position. He went on to data scientist proper role, right? What
Right.
others call data scientist, right? Proper. He went into there. He was with models all the time. Okay, he's completely models and code and so on. He got so frustrated. He left the company in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being that he said he had completely lost the connect with the customer and business.
Got it.
He became a coder basically, and he
Yeah.
didn't want that.
Yeah.
He realized he wanted the business aspect.
Yeah.
It was missing, right? So if you go into one of these, you're very dead hellbent on this is what I want to do. Make sure it is what you really want to do.
Right.
You
Right.
understand what it is. If you get in just into data science or a data scientist or just because it is popular, then you will regret it. So
Right.
don't do that. I mean, see, while I understand, as college kids in the beginning, right? For you, it's about getting some job, any job, right? Forget about um, data scientist versus this. It's just getting a job. You guys can hear me, right? I think Abhay is stuck or what? Yeah, Abhay. Okay, I'm not sure if it's me. Okay, I think I'm here, but looks like Abhay is stuck. Abhay's video is stuck. Okay. Yeah, Abhay.
Sorry. My
Network issues.
Yeah.
All right, no worries. No, so I was just saying that if you get into a very specific role just because it is cool, then it's not a good. You probably maybe for a year or two you will be happy, but soon you will be running into issues. Okay, so
Right.
that's the only tip or advice. Don't go into things just because you have heard your senior or you have heard other people. Make sure you understand what each job role entails. Go with the role, what you will do, not the title of it. Okay,
Right.
and
Right.
then once you find the right fit for you, then pursue it and excel in it. That's the only way.
I'm really thankful that you have touched upon this, because a lot of people are just running after the tags.
Yeah.
And I mean, even when we get opportunities at BoardInfinity for our learners, a lot of people don't apply for companies just because they think that they are not offering that particular designation that they are looking for.
Yeah.
That's so
No,
true.
but on that, I'll give you one. I think for the benefit of students, right? I'll tell you one more thing. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but what people call a data scientist really changes so much with the company, with the industry, with the
Yes.
so on. An example over here, right? There's a very good friend of mine, and she is a data scientist in LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Okay, she's a data scientist in LinkedIn, and so far she has not built a single model.
Mhm.
Okay? But where is the science coming from, right? She is extremely good at how to use statistics, okay, base statistics, to test if something worked or not for the inference part. Okay,
Got it.
that's a very big science. It's a very involved science. How do you design an experiment? How can, say, Microsoft say whether product variation A is better than variation B? It's such a big decision, right? So these are big decisions. These are big things. Not everything is models. So she is a data scientist who has not built a model, right? On the other hand, there is a data scientist in a different company who is reading only research papers. So there is so much variation in the title. Don't go by title. Just always go by what the role is, what the, say, a regular day at that job is, what skills you need, and that should be your guide instead of the title itself. I think Abhay has gone again. Let's just wait for Abhay. Okay. Hey, Abhay, you're back.
I'm so sorry. I think normally it doesn't happen today. It's happening quite often. Yeah.
That's fine. I suppose students were able to hear me, so that's good.
Yeah. You can continue with the answer even if I drop.
Yeah, I did. I continued actually. So last point I made was that not the role title. I mean, I gave an example about LinkedIn. The data scientist over there is not what probably many students will call data scientist, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
don't go by the title. Go by what the role entails, what skills you need on the role. That should be a guide. and not the title.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and you also touched upon the misconceptions of data science in today's world, because a lot of people are, as we discussed, a lot of people are getting into this just for the tag and the paycheck, which should not be the case. The next question that I have, Rahim, for you is that what do you think should be the approach of people, maybe students or early career professionals who are trying to venture into this industry, and they're trying to get into data science? Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I think the answer differs based on where you are. So if you're a student, the answer is a little different. If you're an early career professional, it's a little different. The answer is I think, but it's not like there is any rocket science over here. For both of them, the answers are rather straightforward. It's just a matter of you being patient, really.
Right.
So let me take the first case first, right? The students first. So as students, right? So it's not like you have a lot of existing expertise in the domain. Okay.
Right.
Maybe some of you who get a chance, if you're lucky enough, you work on certain through your college. Okay, I'm not talking about through BoardInfinity, but if you're lucky enough, you get a chance to work on something to do with data as a project. Okay. That number is very little, actually. Okay, and even if they do, the projects are not very industry specific.
Right.
I think we all know how it is in the academia, right? There's a disconnect. Academia versus industry has a clear disconnect.
Yeah.
So even if you do a project, you probably don't really have something which industry will value.
Right.
It's not like you have really done much, and it's not like we expect much. So as industry, because I've gone for hiring as well, right? So we don't really expect you to know data science inside out. Okay, if you know something, it's a big bonus.
Right.
Definitely a big bonus. Okay, but what we do need is that inclination, or is that temperament. Okay, what do I mean by that, right? See, data science, when you're doing, right, of course you have to be logical in thinking.
Right.
Data science is only it is I would say calculation, reason, right? It's that kind of a field. So if you have someone who's not thinking that way, maybe there is a problem. Okay, but still, okay. But coming back, right, to this, how do people approach a role, right? So my point about saying this was, you probably won't have anything on your profile which will get you in.
Right.
It is there as a project. It's an academic project. If you do it to the company, that's one thing. So what you really need to do in there, right? Get your fundas right. Get your fundamentals right. Even if some student comes to me and he hasn't done a project, and he says, students claim whatever, right? Students claim I'm an expert in NLP, right? I mean, after so many years, I still don't consider myself even good at it. Okay,
right.
But students can make random claims, but we don't really care, right? What you think about you are in NLP?
Right.
What we think is, do you understand the fundas? Do you get the basics, or do you have the temperament? Because the skills we will help you with.
Right.
That is one. So get your fundas right. What are the fundas? Regardless of what exact precise role you're getting into in data science, right? You need to have certain skills. Get those skills right. And maybe we'll touch upon this again later, about skills and so on. But some things are basic. Some things like your basic comfort with working with data. It doesn't matter what tool. Okay, it could be whatever tool you want. But popular tools help, of course. But basic comfort with data. Maybe a bit of query language, SQL, something of that sort. These are like important things now. This will give you such a big advantage over the others, right? Then it's like you go in easy mode. Then it's all about you talking properly and showing that you're a logical person. Okay.
Right.
So let's say for whatever reason you did not get a chance to do an academic project in college also.
Right.
Then I would suggest to all the students that make sure you get industry exposure through whatever channels you can. Work on real problems.
Right.
Okay. Right. So for example, see, BoardInfinity is giving them this chance.
Right.
There's many who don't get this chance, right? So the students who are here, right? Let's say, if you have worked with industry professionals, if you have worked on industry problems, and if an industry professional is guiding you, right, the value of it is very, very high. Right. It's not even not even comparable. You on your own will never be, or from your professor in college, you'll never be able to get the kind of insight someone from industry will give you. In fact, you realize they talk completely differently also. It's not even, the vocabulary, there's no overlap also, they're different words altogether. So this is very, very valuable. But what is critical is whatever learnings you have from the instructor or your coach, right? At, let's say, a platform like this, make sure you focus on those things and make sure you say adopt them to your own vocabulary.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. Okay, if I'm going for an interview, if I'm, let's say, going to hire from a particular campus, okay, and if there is a student and the student tells me that, something like this, that, solving the problem is more important than the tool I use,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the algo I use, he's a hands down a winner in my mind. Okay.
Right.
I mean, there could be 10 other people behind him who are excellent at algorithms. I really see this maturity something.
Right.
So these things which you learn from your coaches, right? What's relevant, what is not relevant in industry, please make note of them, and try to inculcate them in your own thinking, and learn. And then next, right, once you have all of these, you appear for interviews. That's good. You get through, you may not get through maybe, but in the beginning, please focus on learning. Even if you get an internship,
Right.
okay, go for it. And it doesn't even matter. Okay, internship paying 15,000, just go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, paying something. In fact, I don't know, not everybody can do that, but even if they pay less, just go for it.
Yeah.
The value you have from that learning is so much, right?
Yeah.
And if you're really good, maybe you started at 15,000. If you're really good, maybe next year you'll end up at 15 lakh.
Yes.
Right? You never know that, right?
Yeah.
So go for internships right now, especially in this scenario with this whole pandemic and so on. People are firing, right? But internships are on the rise. This is a very good opportunity right now. You can make, because you see, in my mind, right, getting an internship is easier than getting a job.
Yeah.
So in a way, right, if it's just about getting into the field, I think this is a better situation than what was there earlier.
Yeah.
People are looking for interns. Okay, even some of them are not paying very well, but just go for it. In my mind, go for internships. Learn from industry what matters for them. That should be key for success.
Got it.
Now, for the other chaps who are in the early career, for them, my advice is, can you find something related to data, right? Again, by the way, I'm clarifying this again. Related to data does not mean building a model. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a very big misconception. Related to data, can you find something related to data? I'm very sure whatever job you are in, there is some or the other exposure to data. I'm very certain of it. Unless they are very, very specific roles, most roles have some or the other exposure to data.
Right.
Right? Even if you're designing a database for a, say, company, you can still get that data, right? You have your hands.
Yeah.
Don't forget about what tool. If you know SQL, analyze or get insight using SQL, right? Work with that data, build an understanding, and first thing is try to make a switch internally.
Right.
Don't lose a decent job or where you are in quest for greener pastures, right? Look for a switch within the company. Even if they don't give you a switch right away, I'm sure there would be some managers and teams. You reach out to them out of your personal accord or whatever, and ask them, I am interested in working on data. Can you give me some sort of a problem statement? I will work on this on my side. Okay, this is my own bandwidth. You don't have to make it a proper project for me. Nothing. Okay, I will do it on my side as a hobby thing. But do something. Get started. Maybe that project, if you do it well, that becomes your ticket to a switch within that company.
Right.
First, try that. If that doesn't work out, then you should try to look for a change outside. Okay. And again, this I've said based on my calls with people and so on, right? You are, let's say, a couple of years into into your career, or 3 years into your career, right? And you're getting paid well, and you feel you want to get into data science as a field. But the challenge is that as in a data science field, you probably go in as a fresher, right? Which is very, very likely actually.
Yeah.
You're probably in a particular skill set, but in the other one it is not very relevant.
Right.
So I would still say go for it. These concerns, right, that you have right now, that a little more money, or I'm not getting that increment and so on, these will not matter after a while.
Right.
This money thing is a very, very short thing, maybe a year or two, right? In fact, the more you advance in your career, this will seem less and less relevant actually, because after a while you'll be at a decent place where you are.
Yes.
So make that switch, even if if it pays a little lesser. Don't worry about the level, because whatever it's not like you're starting from zero really. Because let's say you worked for 3 years. See, in the 3 years you also accumulated other skills, other softer skills. These softer skills will help you progress in data science as well.
Right.
So I hope that helps address both sides of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is really helpful because a lot of people have these conceptions when they are starting in data science or when they are trying to switch into a new role, and they always feel that if I am earning X in my current role, I should get some X plus delta in data science also, and which is at times not true.
Yeah.
They are not even satisfied with the X that they are getting in a new role. So that is something which is
I think that also happens because they hear, right, data scientist is getting I don't know, average of 8 lakh, 10 lakh, 12 lakh or something, right? That's what is influencing the decisions, I suppose.
Right.
I think it's a good idea to come out of it really and not focus on the money right now. Focus on getting a job, getting into the field, then money will come automatically.
Yeah. Great. So, Rahim, my next question is that what are the key skills you feel is required to excel data science domain in the long run?
Yeah, I'm very glad you asked that because I've been hinting at it as well. Right? It's good to explicitly address this. In the data science field, the key skills to excel in the long run has nothing to do really with your algorithms or your coding skill set. They become completely irrelevant. Okay? What really makes you stand out is, can you solve a problem the right manner using the data? That's really it. I mean, and it sounds like a very small thing, but the amount of things it encompasses, it's really tremendous. Okay. The skill right now, in fact, I'll give you an example. In fact, one of the sessions at BoardInfinity itself, I think, I was doing this thing on machine learning, and there was a model we had to build, linear regression model. So, 3 lines of code. Okay. Import this, trace this, done. 3 lines. And I said the model is built. And of course, students are very happy, right? We built a model. Then I asked the students, okay, see, it took 3 lines. Okay. And 3 lines of code, you built a model. If this is so easy, why is it so difficult to get into data science?
Right.
Because see, 3 lines of code, the standard code, right? If this is all there is, then it's so easy, right? Anyone can be a data scientist, right? Anyone can be an excellent one.
Yeah.
So the key or the insight I want to give them was that, once things are very defined, once this is your X, once this is your Y variable and so on, this is very easy.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not difficult. The difficult part is, how do you think? What is the Y variable? Right? What do you want to predict? Do you even want to predict?
Right.
What are the factors driving this? Right?
Yeah.
And so on. All of these are much more important questions. Let's say I build a model. How will I use it? Right? Should I use this or that? So there are so many considerations around it.
Yeah.
In real projects, if you, at least my experience has been, in my personal experience has been that in a project to do with data science, the actual model part is less than 10%.
Exactly.
It is the easiest part in my mind because see, I'm not in the research area where I'm developing new techniques, right?
Yeah.
I'm using techniques, I'm using them the right way. So that is the easiest part in my mind, modeling. But the other part, how are we solving it? Is it the right thing to look at? That is much more important. And that the key driver of all of that is problem solving skills. I mean, I don't see any other skill being even close to this one in comparison.
Right.
What makes a good data science professional in the long run is definitely problem solving skills.
Right.
And structured problem solving skills, not randomly haphazard being all over the place.
Which is, I think, 90% understanding problem and 10% solving problem, right?
Yeah. So it's like this. The understanding part is definitely very, very critical.
Yeah.
See what implicit things you need to bring. See, but it is easier said than done, right? Let's say if I look at a lot of case studies, for example, who did what and so on. Will that be sufficient? No, because no case really repeats itself.
Yeah,
exactly. So whatever this company did, you won't have the same thing. Even if you wish to say, let's say I say, Swiggy did this.
Yeah.
Now Zomato can do the same. It's not possible. It won't happen. There's so many peculiarities, so many smaller differences which will come in.
Right.
A general problem-solving approach, a mindset is what you really need to build in the long run. And another critical one, for what really builds for success is this, in the long run at least, is you may have the best model in the world right now.
Right.
The best model in the world, no one has ever done this. Andrew NG is your fan right now. Okay. It's the best model in the world. But if you cannot convince your stakeholders or the business who we are working with that this model will give benefit to the organization, it's completely useless.
Yeah. Right.
So how do you convince people if you have something good? Of course, you have to have something good.
Yeah.
But how do you convince them is by way of communication. So problem solving skills, the other one is communication. Okay, you cannot be an effective analyst or whatever unless your communication skills. And just to clarify, I don't mean your language skills, English skills. That's not really relevant. Okay, I mean it is. I mean, I think many of you will argue over here. I'm from this kind of a city or this thing.
Yeah.
I got rejected because of my English wasn't fluent.
Yeah.
That's what many will think. That is probably partially true with regard to certain kind of companies. Okay,
Yes.
and I'm not saying the hiring world is perfect, right? The hiring world has its own biases. Not every company which is coming for interviewing is sensible.
Right.
But there are many companies who I would say will take you in even if your skills are not too bad.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
of course, I mean that you should still be able to communicate. I'm not saying you completely don't know the language, right? But even if your skills are basic, what's important is how do you express yourself? It's not about the vocabulary you use. How do you express yourself?
Right.
How do you convince the other person on the other side of the table that what you have is what selling in a way, right? Selling yourself, selling what you're made, and so on. That bit has to come in communication, and this comes from understanding what you have and understanding what the other person is seeking and what value adds. So it all comes down to really identifying value, creating value, communicating value. So
Got it.
communication is another big one, I think, and it's a good thing. By the way, I got to know that I think someone is also taking sessions on soft skills, right?
Yeah.
And this part, I think I haven't seen this happening elsewhere. First of all, so I really think I should congratulate you guys for taking this initiative, because this is something which really it stands out. I mean, it is something, right, which will make you such a well-rounded professional that no one can deny you.
Yes.
Right? I mean, think of it, right? If I have think of the things BoardInfinity is doing right now, right? There is one student right now, let's say, who is completely, geek. He's a geek. He's an excellent in coding and so on, right? Maybe, I don't know, Google will hire him for his research thing, whatever. But if you ignore those kind of profiles, right? The general profile, if I go for hiring, there's one chap who's an excellent coder and so on, but he doesn't understand things. He lacks communication skills. He doesn't see the larger picture. There's another chap who is okay at coding. He's okay at algos, but he brings in the maturity which comes from experience. Let's say, even if he repeats, let's say, what his coach told him, okay?
Right.
And also at the same time, he communicates well.
Right.
Who will I pick?
Yeah.
So it's a very easy choice. It's not even worth thinking really for me.
Right.
So these things, right? These things are talking with coaches, getting industry viewpoints, solving industry problems, also the soft skills part. These parts, I think, whatever BoardInfinity is doing right now, if students get this, if you use this well, you will benefit massively in the short run as well as a long run, because this really is critical. I right now, I in my very first job which I took, while I did not do a lot of machine learning or whatever, but I think that job was such a critical job for my growth.
Yeah.
It was consulting, right? Focus on communication, stakeholders, presentation. How do you formally communicate? That the way they gave me that really, I think, has been a big factor in my career. I think this is a very critical thing, and it's really very good that students are getting this right now through your platform. And I would urge students to realize the value of things they're really getting. But what happens is students say that, what, I'm paying this money, I should get a job, and fine, so this skill, that skill, but not realizing the value of what you're getting. I would have been so happy to get these things when I was a student. I didn't get this.
Right.
You are getting this, you should make the most of it.
Right. Rahim, my next thing is that you briefly touched upon the value of problem solving, and that is something people can learn tools, but formally nowhere people don't have a way to improve their problem solving skills. How do you think students or professionals can work on their problem solving skills?
I think for students it's a little trickier. For professionals, working professionals, I think in your company you talk to people, maybe you get your hands on some data, right? It's a little easier over there, and just work on it. For students as well as professionals, one thing is common. You can look at case studies. By case studies, I mean not general average case studies. Look for database case studies, something of that sort, where how did this company solve this problem using data? And you have plenty of them, by the way. It's not it's not missing.
Right.
So they will have this company did this. This was the problem they had. This is how they solved. Right. This company was having issues with, say, users not being retained on the platform.
Got it.
Or a certain age group, they were having challenges. So how did they solve it? How did they identify? So do that a lot. I think, see, point is, if you are inclined towards this, right, problem solving, you'll automatically find them interesting.
Right.
So just go on, read. I think that is a very big first step.
Got it. And one last thing, I think for people, those who don't know, Rahim has been one of the very instrumental factor in building BoardInfinity data science program. And he has built the curriculum, the content, and a lot of other stuff. So, Rahim, do you want to touch upon few things what differentiates BoardInfinity data science program from the others in the market?
Okay, so I think I've touched upon that already, but more explicitly. So see, what BoardInfinity is offering to students, there's two parts to it.
Right.
See, one part is the curriculum part and the technical skills.
Right.
Right. That the way we have designed it is, first of all, right, because I am involved, so I know this, right? It is obviously I'm convinced that's why I designed this. But what I see is, right, it's not focusing on, it has focus basically.
Yeah.
It's not giving you anything and everything which is cool out there. Okay. Yeah. First of all, while detecting or identifying objects in an image.
Yeah.
Right now, everyone is talking about it. But do you really need that to become a data science professional?
Right.
Maybe for those very specific 0.1% roles, okay. But is it a general thing? Well, no. Yeah. So one thing I like about this curriculum that we have designed together is that it is focusing on the things which are relevant you really need in the industry, which really add value. And after that, you can just keep on incrementally. Okay, incrementally, you see what is we are giving you, what you need to be there. Right? It's like a model with 99% accuracy is already there.
Yeah.
From 99 to 99.0102, you guys can keep on doing it.
Yeah.
But you are getting a very, very good, very refined and distilled view of things. It is not distracting. I think some of the students say that this company is probably asking about I don't know, some sort of particular model. We haven't done that.
Right.
Okay? And that is completely okay, guys. I mean, that's not what your core is. Like I mentioned earlier, again and again, right? The core is not, or your strength will not be a particular model. Your strength will be how do you understand these things, how it works, and so on. So you'll see the curriculum is one part, which is good that it is focused. It is relevant to the industry. That is one good thing. The other part, which I think is far more value add.
Yeah.
Really, I think this is good, but the other thing is much bigger than that, which is the whole bit around being able to interact with industry, working on problems which are, or at least approaching things the way industry approaches.
Right.
And the soft skills part.
Yeah.
These, in my mind, this is really, really great. And you guys should make the most of it. The industry part also, I think recently we did a session which was not at all like the regular session, right?
Yeah.
So we did these 4 or 5 sessions, short sessions, in which we did not give you a data set and made that this is the model.
Right.
We did an overall end-to-end problem solving, right? What is the objective? Who is the customer? How would you talk to the customer?
Yeah.
If you interview them, what would you ask them, right?
Yeah.
The model part was a very small part.
Right.
After the model, how would you evaluate this? Is it a good model? Is it a bad model? How do you use it? So this thing, right? These kind of things. See, not all platforms, by the way, will be okay to spend time on this. Okay.
Right.
Right. If I approach, let's say another platform is there and I tell them, this kind of a thing where they're not learning any models,
right,
and this is all gyan only, right? Many will not agree that, what, students won't like it. They want hands-on. They won't agree to it. But the fact that BoardInfinity saw value in that is a good thing, because BoardInfinity acknowledges that there's much more than just coding or modeling.
Yeah.
And that, right, is a differentiator, which I think really stands out in my mind. And that is the reason I have also associated with BoardInfinity for so long and will continue, right? That's the whole reason that we are doing something good. It's not just, giving students what they want. We are giving students what they need, and they don't even realize how helpful it will be for them in the longer run. Okay? But at the same time, they're receiving it very well. So that's a good point. That shows the maturity of our students as well.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
I think, and so one thing which internally also, when we are building BoardInfinity, we are doing that is industry professionals are the major instrumental factor in
Yep.
they will give a lot of direction to the platform.
Yep.
We are just the enablers. We BoardInfinity team are just the enablers. The entire direction, curriculum, content, everything is coming from industry professional, and they are the one who are telling that this is something which you should teach, and we are completely following that. Yeah.
And your coach network is also good, right? I mean, the
Yeah.
coaches you have, it's not like, you're taking anyone with, because see, there's many people out there, right, who want to make a quick buck. So what they say is, I know basic coding. So, I'll join a platform, I'll make hourly this and that, and they're very happy with that.
Right.
That's not really beneficial, maybe only to them, not to anyone else really. Right. So it's good that the coaches you have, right, are experienced coaches who are and the way I see, right, I've seen some of the way they have teach and so on. I feel many of them are genuinely interested in teaching. They enjoy it. And that's, I think, a real...
we always try to understand the intent of coaches, when they are coming to BoardInfinity. And the major thing that we want to, look at is that their willingness and their willingness to give back to society. And that is something which is very core to all of them. So Rahim, quickly we'll take a couple of questions. A lot of people have posted a few questions on YouTube.
Was it okay?
Yeah. So one question is from a student. He's saying that what is the scope of data analysis in India being a student from tier 3 college?
Asha. So I think, honestly, actually the time is, I have to get another one, but call, but I'll very, very briefly, right? Briefly, I'll just mention this, right? While practically the way it is, right? Like I said, like data science needs a lot of people and analytics needs a lot of people and so on. But the way it works, you are right. I think what you're hinting at is the tier 3 part, right?
Yeah.
That the tier 3 part is a drawback for you, and probably it will take much more effort for you. And unfortunately, I cannot disagree with you completely.
Right.
I cannot say that, I'll be lying if I say that, it doesn't matter tier 3, tier 2. That's not. It does make a difference. I was from BITS. I got an easy pass. Okay, you don't have that opportunity. So in this such a situation, right? I think if you are right now, just get your hands on data, talk to professionals, get some projects, get an internship, do something, get into the field. Program like a BoardInfinity will really help you with this exposures. This is really important. With you probably, with and without this, there's a big difference.
Right.
So the key thing is get exposure to industry, get into the industry, even if as an intern.
Right.
Just get there. Once you get in, right, then it will be on your skills.
Right.
Until you get in, it is all a matter of, your percentage, your CGPA, your college and so on.
Right.
After you get in,
right,
you will establish yourself. It's up to you then. Then you can't blame it on your college, by the way, after a while.
Right.
It's you then.
Right. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for your time today. This has been a very fun conversation.
Okay.
And you have addressed a lot of things which I feel that is not properly addressed in the academia. And that is something which is really valuable. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It was good to be here, and always good to, at least share my ideas or thoughts with the students, right? I think that's where the real value is as well, right? So, I mean, and to all the students listening, I hope that you feel a little more comfortable in your own skin, and also feel that, I can do this, right? See, I was an electronics person, right? And I am right now coming and talking to students, right? Maybe you can do the same. I'm not special in any really manner. So anyone can be that. And, my career is an example. You can do the same. Just, use the things you have. And put your best foot forward, and all the best for all that you want to do. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rahim. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.